Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. Before we, delve into the shithousery that unfolded today at the Bernabeu, big up our partners, big up our
Hola
sponsors,
Madridistas, welcome
Manscaped.
back to another.
Um, the link is in the description below. Get 20% off with free shipping using the code LBR20. I repeat, LBR20. Um, like I mentioned in the previous episode, this is the best way that you guys can use to show some support to the channel. Um, when you take a wide overview of the catalog, it might seem a little pricey, but there are certain products which is under 40-30 bucks. So yeah, like you add 20% off and free shipping on top of that. I think there is a deal. So yeah, man. If you need stuff for your family, for your girlfriend, boyfriend, Valentine's Day is coming up, so I think it's the perfect excuse to actually show some love to what we have been doing, and yeah, like I'll tell you, the sponsorship also depends upon how much love you can show us and Manscaped. So yeah, man, big up Manscaped again. We'll be introducing the products as soon as we get them. Like I think we'll have them in like 3 or 4 days. So yeah, look forward to talking a bit more about the products in detail, and Mo will have certain some integrated analysis of lawnmower 5.0 as well. So yeah, man, big up Manscaped again. Talking about not tonight's, today's game, midday kickoff. I really don't know where to begin. To be honest, I was numb watching the game. I was numb afterwards. There was no euphoria, no sense of even relief, because I was so fucking pissed off at how we handled the game. But I think it's expected in a certain way. I knew fatigue would play a part. That's the whole reason why me, Jacob, and Farouk were here and contemplating why would Carlo really throw in his A team for a game like this. And Jacob, I remember off the top of my head, I remember very well that Jacob said, "Don't go for any surprising inclusions, because you know what Carlo's going to do. He's going to throw in his trusted 11." And we saw the repercussions of what that laid out for us in the first half. But now, yeah, man. Before we get into it, welcome my esteemed co-host, uh, panelist Mo. How's it going, bro?
Yeah,
Talk
man.
to
I
us.
I think before we start this thing, I have to apologize for the fact that your name is labeled as Farouk. We had some technical issues that we had to sort out like very fast to bring this whole thing up, put together everything. So everybody knows that this is not Farouk. This is Sunet. Sunet is pretty popular right now, so I don't really have to tell everybody. But yeah,
Being associated with Farouk is, like I told you Mo, before we came on, it is a slight dent on my rep, but I'll take it for a day.
yeah,
It's okay.
and I think thankfully the comments thing is working again. Let me just try. Yeah, Madrid TV says big up, so it's working. So we should be good to
Like a
go.
Metro TV, man, every single time.
Yeah, if there are any issues with the streams, guys, just let us know in the chat. For now, I think everything is working fine for now. Yeah, coming back to the game, I think we, like I said in the group chat, right? I was like totally expecting us to drop points today. Like you guys talked about fatigue and everything in the last preview, and I think that was an incredibly valid point because January, as tradition for Real Madrid under like Antonio Pintos, has always been a time of the year when Real Madrid is always dropping points. So for me, it was a big surprise that we won the Super Cup as comfortably as we did, and the performances that have been there. Like okay, I think the game against Mallorca wasn't the best, but we still managed to pick up points and everything. But the game against Atleti, especially the disappointment of the midweek, I kind of think that it was like tending towards we were tired already from the Saudi Super Cup, and now we are here today. For me personally, as soon as I saw the match, the squad list come out, and it was like Ancelotti is making no rotations. Although you guys are like, yeah, this is Ancelotti, he's not gonna make any rotations, but I still had this like I was hoping beyond hope that Ancelotti somehow makes some changes, but nothing happened. At that point, I was like pretty sure that we are gonna drop points, and it just transpired that way. That we managed to come out with the full 3 points. So incredibly happy about the result. I had wished that some of our players would be rotated and get some rest, but you take it on the chin and move on.
take it on your chin. I really find it hard to take it on my chin, man. Honestly, because I might be a sore loser, but when I see certain redeeming qualities in a performance, unlike Farouk, where I really want my team to go guns blazing and play the best football ever played, I would take the win and run, like you just said. But even for a night like even for a day like today, I really can't do it. I just my heart doesn't seem right. It might be just a one-off, right? Like, but in isolation, this game was really really poor. But fatigue can be attributed to it, but Carlos should have done better, man. But let's talk about Nacho, right? Fatigue again is an issue, has been overplayed, has been called upon far more than he would have been, like to, um, but I don't think he would be complaining regarding the minutes. But the more I see of Nacho, it's slightly concerning. Going into the Champions League knockouts with just Chouameni being, heralded as the sole backup. Um, there's some.
Yeah. No, I was just like checking some people are talking about my mic being low, so I'm just trying to make sure everything is okay.
I can hear you perfectly well, right? Yeah, just increase the,
Yeah, I
you
kind
know,
of increased the sensitivity of my mic, so I'm hoping like everything's fine now.
should be fine, should be fine. But yeah, man, Nacho, culpable for two mistakes, two big mistakes. Let's talk about the first one specifically. You start the game, right? We can give him the excuse that he is tired, but even then, man, right? 5 yard pass out to Mendy.
Yeah, I think some of those things cannot be explained by the fact that they are fatigued, like you rightly pointed out. Especially Nacho's mistake. I think that is something that you shouldn't be seeing from a player like Nacho, an experienced player like Nacho. Somebody who's been here around at Real Madrid for a long time. And I think it kind of brings into question Real Madrid's this whole decision not to bring a backup in because thing is like Real Madrid needs quality. I was actually reading an article in the Spanish media a while back for about this whole centre back debacle thing and how Real Madrid are approaching it. They were like, if we sign a player, he's going to be a young player who can play, or he's going to be a senior player who's not going to really challenge Nacho for the starting spot. So I think the idea was that Nacho is going to be the one who's playing alongside Rudiger. So for me, after performances like these, although I love Nacho, he is Mr. Real Madrid personified for me. So I it pains me to say this, but I think Nacho's performances, especially this past year, haven't been really up to the standard. Even again in the game against Arandina, the cup tie, the first cup tie, I felt that like he was poor when we conceded the goal that we did. And today he gives the ball away. Previously as well, you guys have mentioned numerous times, that he's been lacking in his performances. So I think that's a very valid point. And today the performance I think was disappointing. I think Ancelotti kind of identified that and decided, we could do without him and subbed him off and brought Chouameni to play in the centre back, despite whatever happened after the midweek, all the controversies and everything. Ancelotti decided to stamp his authority and play Chouameni as centre back again. So for me, as you rightly said, Nacho incredibly disappointing. I hope he gets get better because Real Madrid is not signing a centre back as to the best of our knowledge. So I hope Nacho steps up because otherwise we'll be just waiting for the Militao to come back and come back at top form for Real Madrid to salvage something from this season.
100%. Without Nacho being playing up to optimal levels, I don't think we stand a chance. I don't think we stand a chance in either La Liga or Champions League because today could have been easily 2 points dropped, right? Could have been 3 points dropped. You never know, right? But in the Champions League, I think the margin for error is going to be even lesser, and guys like Nacho should step up, and he should be the leading light. No matter what we think of him, no matter what we think his best level is, or how much quality does he actually have, like he should really be the guy pulling things at the back. But slightly off topic, right? Like since you mentioned that Carlo rightly saw that we could do without Nacho. Another person that I really thought would come on is Luka Modric, right? This is kind of slightly off topic, but I think this is the right moment to ask more about it. Like, what do you think is Luka's thought process at this moment in time? Because clearly Carlo doesn't like relying on him.
For me personally, I think the reasoning behind Ancelotti not bringing on Modric is the fact that I think we needed some verticality and some influence in the final third. Because if you guys noticed it, it was like after they got the goal, Almeria were like kind of sitting back, and it's not a surprise. We kind of like even the best armchair analysis, like kind of they're gonna expect that to happen. So for me, I think Ancelotti's thought process behind that was like we needed bodies in the box and we needed some dynamism in the attack, because the thing with Rodrigo, Vinicius, and Bellingham wasn't just working out today. Because like I think that combination between Bellingham and Vinicius was something that was missing, and I kind of like when I say Real Madrid missed we're going to drop points because of fatigue. This was my biggest problem, Bellingham, because Bellingham has played like he's going to play till he drops under Ancelotti, and for me this has been like it's kind of sad to see that. I was expecting maybe today he decides to go with Arda Güler, because he's somebody who hasn't played, and if you're not going to play him against the bottom side, who are you going to play him against? So
100%.
my thinking was like you go with Arda Güler instead of Bellingham, but he decided to stick with Bellingham, and I think in the first half
I wanted Arda Güler to start, and the boys were like, no chance he's starting, which was proven right.
Yeah, for me as well. I think Bellingham was like incredibly tired, so the combination wasn't there, and I think Rodrigo, Vinicius on their own couldn't do anything. And I think this was also a theme for the cup tie against Atleti, because Vinicius and Rodrigo were just like running, they were running like blind men into walls or something, because they just kept running with the ball, dribbling with the ball, and kept losing it in the final third. So I think today as well, they just set up a defense, set up a wall, and we couldn't do anything. So with that in mind, I think Ancelotti decided that this is a game that needed Brahim and Oselu. Did they influence the game? I have my issues with the way they were playing as well, but I think that was Ancelotti's thought process, and I think this is why he didn't decide to go with Luka Modric.
Pick up the chat. I would like to, quickly read out a few of the comments before we, delve into it further. We're going to be keeping it short, boys. So yeah, fasten your seatbelts. It's gonna be wild. Madrid TV, big up Madrid TV man. He says, "What a game! First half was the worst. First half I've seen us play this season, but the boys came back at the second half. Hala Madrid. Yeah, did we really come back? I'm not sure. It is the great says, I'm so angry at the moment. I can't even lie that it was luck at its finest today. We have to check a few things, man, because this ain't looking good. We have Atleti in a few weeks at the Bernabeu. And if we play like that, we might see one of the biggest embarrassing losses ever, and ever being for real. Big up Dennis the Great every single time. And Ashik B was mentioning, oh, did I delete the message? Oh my God.
Fantastic football one?
No. I think Dennis's message was by mistake, by the way. Ashik was mentioning fantastic football match. All credit to Almeria, and an undeserved win for us. Penalty was fortuitous. Tying goal was a handball, but should have been called a penalty for us. The winning goal was all about Jude's football IQ. 100%. Jude was extraordinary. Madrid TV was also mentioning, I blame Ancelotti for playing a strong side against Almeria. The players are exhausted. 9 out of 11 of them played against Atletico for 120 minutes. Come on, I think that's why the players didn't perform today. Ashik also says, I also put part of the blame on the stupid and stubborn board. We need depth in centre back. Nacho is burnt out and making mistakes. Rudiger is already there, matter of time. Yeah, even Rudiger looks like he has chinks in his armor. Not gonna lie. Let me see a few more of the comments. ZMap says most mic sounds low. It was before. Yeah, I think it's fixed. Ricardo says, if this result doesn't show the board that we need a centre back, I don't know what will. We have conceded 10 goals in the last 4 games. That's mad. That's like mid-table side.
Yeah, today my brother was actually watching Real Madrid for the first time, and he was like, you guys only have one defender. I was telling him, Rudiger. This is the reason why I keep saying Rudiger is the best in the world, because this is the guy who's defending everything alone. And like even today at moments, Tchouaméni, Fran Garcia, Dani Carvajal, everybody was in the opposition half, and Rudiger alone had to like handle everything. And I think it kind of speaks to Real Madrid's mentality going forward. Like Rudiger is just doing well, so why not like squeeze everything out of him? And I don't really appreciate that mentality, but I think that's how the board is.
All it takes is a knock for Rudiger to miss one single game for all this to come down. That's just how peak it is.
The thing is, like we've discussed this before as well. I think if Rudiger goes down, we don't really have a substitute, not even the first team, and we don't even have anybody in the Casillas. We have talked about.
Carrillo got injured or something, right?
Yeah, I heard Carrillo got injured, so. Yeah, it's going to be incredibly disappointing if Rudiger goes down, and it's going to be incredibly damaging as well.
Yeah, man. Let's get back into talking about the game a bit. The very fact that we had to really go into halftime looking like headless chickens against a side that has gone 9 successive away games without a win, bottom of the league, haven't won, one single game all season. It just was hard to watch. Not gonna lie. Vinicius, again, what was he doing? Like, I get it, fatigue, whatever it might be, there wasn't anyone for him to combine. But general play, general body language, general demeanor is just shocking, absolutely shocking for me. That's personally just my opinion. I'm not speaking for Mo. I'm not speaking for Let's Be Real. I'm just speaking as Sunair, right? Like, for me, I expect so much more from him. He just, at one point, I saw it, right? Like, he's trying to rile up the crowd. Even the crowd were like, really? What do you want us to do? Just play to your tune, and then you get carried away. Um that's the mental image I got from those guys. Like, I speak more than words, and some of the people looking down at Vinny from the stands, our own fans, there was a disconnect. It was so shocking. Like, I haven't seen stuff like that, honestly, because I don't want this to happen. I don't want this to be the next Gareth Bale story. It's an extreme. It's never going to happen. But I'm just telling you, it shouldn't be this way. We went into halftime. Carlo saw that it wasn't working. He pulled off Nacho, pulled off Phil and Mendy, yeah, couldn't really. There was a point in the game where and the entire left hand side was filled with like seven players, and the right hand side was just Carvajal and Fede, or just Carvajal and Rodrigo. Like, I don't get it. The entire left hand side was overloaded and nothing was happening. Probably that was why guys like Mendy was hooked off. Fran came in, was a positive inclusion. There was a slight change in shape, which also helped our cause massively. But talk us through the subs more, and who impressed you the most, basically.
From the subs, I think for me it's kind of like I have to say Fran, because his crosses were the things that were like creating danger. But then, like you said, there was a change in the entire approach of how we approached the game in the second half, because the first half was like Ancelotti and the coaching staff sticking to their 4-4-2 and deciding to do what has worked so far. I think you raised some valid points about Vinicius, him being like too greedy sometimes with the ball, trying to do a lot, and the lack of anything being present in the center of the box also kind of limited him. And all Almeria did were like they had to stick like two men on him, and he would lose.
There was nobody to even put a finger on the centre backs. I don't get it. There was no one.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's something that did not work out today. So Ancelotti rightly decided to bring on Joselu. For me personally, I felt that Fran, when he came on, he kind of like he kind of stretched their defense a little. He made those overlapping runs, and I think Ferland Mendy like kind of struggled to do with it, because we know Ferland Mendy, he's not going to be pinging in crosses like pinpoint crosses. When Fran came in, he had that he added that impetus to our attack, because now we had an added missile to throw into their box. But then it wasn't just him, it was also the fact that Joselu is now here and occupying defenders. Like that's something that we have always talked about. So I think that definitely helped out Real Madrid. So for me, Fran was definitely an impressive player. But apart from, I think the whole thing changed because of the change in formation, the change in style that we were going with.
There was much better width.
Yeah. There was better width, like you said, and I wouldn't just put it down to one player. It was like everybody, a combination of multiple things. And Jude also.
Dani Carvajal was a shadow of himself in the first half. Even he stepped up down the right as well.
Yeah. And I think we also have to point out the fact that with the change in formation, with Joselu occupying spaces for centrally, it kind of freed up Jude. Even though he was tired, like Jude massively stepped up his game. Like you pointed out, Carvajal did too, but like Jude, I think he was incredible in the second half.
100%. Fran's cross basically, leads to the pen. Like I was screaming, while it happened, because how does everybody miss it, right? But then the replays showed there was a hand involved, and man, Jude. Even though the penalty kind of looked cold, like the replays really, scared me to death, because what if the goalkeeper really left his foot hanging? He could have saved it. But neat deception, straight down the middle. Important pen. You could hear a pin drop silence in the stands. They were so fucking nervous. Like I can't fucking even describe it well enough, because at a point of the game when we're 2-0 down against the 20th place side, let's be honest, at home, the crowd looking like like we need something right now. We're desperate. We would take anything. Some scruffy goal. We just need a goal right now. That's how intimidating the whole scenario was. And big up Jude, man, again, stepping up when it needs the most. 100%. Let me get to a few other comments before we move further. Ricardo was mentioning, that guy King was mentioning, Nacho, strip him. Strip him of the captaincy, I reckon. But
Yeah, I can't
yeah,
believe
I
that.
think it's a bit too harsh. A bit too harsh. Ricardo was mentioning, though, I'm not his biggest fan, but I appreciate Carlo making the changes at halftime. Also, we have been conceding the same type of goals match after match. We need to do better. I'll tell you, the midfielders have to really help out, right? Like, I know you can't really blame, people for the first goal because it was, right off, the whistle, and players are still kind of, getting into rhythm. It was kind of a knockout blow, right? Like we didn't really know what hit us, right? But the second goal, like there should be people closing, a fucking centre back down better. It was a clean finish. It was one of the best finishes of the season. Let's be honest, right? Initially, I was like, can you even blame Nacho because he's not expecting someone to rifle a top corner, right? But the midfield, in my opinion, should be helping out so much more better. Whether it be runners from deep or just in general play, they should be helping out Nacho and Rudiger so much more better. It's not like Ramos and Varane, where or Ramos and Pepe, who can really shore up the even they couldn't really do it. But I'm just telling you, like these guys need help. Like I don't know where you stand with that more.
Now, for me, the
Um,
thing was like this idea that everybody has to pitch in. Like, I totally agree with it. For
mm,
me, the thing is like this game it was about like playing against Real Madrid. Every bottom team has like the same strategies. Like sit deep, attack on transition, quickly and Almeria has the right tools. I think, especially with Larchi Ramzani because he has the pace to like threaten us. So for me, the thing is like once Real Madrid get caught on transitions, Almeria had all the time to take advantage of it. And when you have Nacho making the mistakes that he's making in this game, it's definitely gonna help him out. And then you also have to give credit to Edgar for that finish because that was a
yeah, yeah.
wonderful finish. And at that point in time, I was wondering, is there a player in Real Madrid team that can actually pull that off?
I
So,
don't think so.
that was the thought process going in my mind. So for the second goal, it's like you have to give kudos, criticize ourselves, but overall, I think for me, this game in particular, it was about defending transitions well, and I think we kind of failed to do that, and like you rightly pointed out, the midfield should help out whenever they can. Tiredness, fatigue, whatever it be, you cannot be making these kind of mistakes, these kind of elementary
Yeah,
fundamental mistakes. So, but going forward, I'm hoping better from the team because this team has had like a hugely packed schedule, and that is partially why when I said before, I was okay with crashing out of a Copa. It was because like it's gonna open up the schedule for us. So hopefully we don't have a game this midweek. I'm not entirely sure. So as long as we
we
don't
don't have
have
it.
it, yeah, as long as we don't have it, it gives the players some time to recover, and hopefully we can push on for the second half of our season. The Champions League and La Liga. Those are the two trophies everybody wants to win. So I hope we do well.
With the midfield, I see a pattern here, right? Like in previous years, especially last year, and even during the season when we won, Decimo Quarta, the pattern was basically the team, relying too much on Pivo and basically, delegating duties to him, right? Now what I see is it's not even just the goalkeeper, it's Rudiger, one man army.
Yeah.
I think the entire team kind of knows. Oh, like he'll sweep it up at the back.
Yeah.
So that mentality, like I watched Leipzig yesterday, and they are a menace. People like Xavi Simmons are gonna rip you apart if you give that much
Yeah.
time to think and
Uh, when
pick
when the
out
draw was
passes.
made, me and Farouk were talking about this, and I said Leipzig are the
Mm,
worst draw that we can get. It isn't because
mm,
like they have some exceptional quality, but it's just because with the pace and physicality they play. They play at a game
yeah,
at a tempo that I find.
Sesko, for a guy that lanky, man, he has some neat feet. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
I think the way Leipzig play doesn't really suit us. That the tempo
Mm,
they play at, and I think they have the ability to exploit us. So for me, this is a tie that I'm really like. I'm not going to it with full confidence. Oh, this Real Madrid is going to win this thing because like when you look at it, Leipzig doesn't really have the tradition of Real Madrid. They don't really have
yeah,
the quality of Real Madrid. But then when you look at the style they play with, I think that doesn't really mesh with us. So for us, that's going to be a tricky tie to navigate.
100%, 100%. Also, talking about transition quickly, it wasn't a goal that stood, but still, Arriba's neat finish. But the way they cut us apart, man, and you see, right at the beginning of that play, you can see Chouamini making a schoolboy error. Instead of sticking out wide, he just drifts inward. That just blew my mind. You can clearly see he's not a centre back, but imagine that happening in a pivotal Champions League knockout tie. We will be finished, man. I'm telling you, we got away with it.
Yeah,
Jude Bellingham was fouled in the build-up. Go on, Mo.
yeah, I think this goes back to the point that everybody in the chat is making, and the point that we kind of agree. We need to bring in some quality to to shore up the defense. But then the argument always goes back to the fact that how do we bring in a quality for 6 months and then not sacrifice our flexibility going forward when we go into the next season? So I think this is kind of like a tightrope that the board is walking. We'll see what they do, but I'm kind of hoping Nacho has to step up big time. Otherwise, this season is going to get ugly.
Hassan has already given out his verdict. He wants Chouameni to start at centre back for now. Like I don't get it, bro. Especially in big games against teams of a bit better metal. Like I don't think we'll stand a chance. Chouameni, no.
I think the issue's always been, on one hand, you have Nacho who's making errors, like the giveaway that he did for the first goal, and then you have Chouameni who's making maybe errors of tactical nature, something that he probably needs to learn better. So I think that's an argument we're stuck in right now, and I think that's not an argument that you want to be stuck with. So not a nice place to be as a Real Madrid fan.
Not at all. Man, like that, the board is showing severe lack of ambition. I'll tell you just that, because yes, this season was meant to be a transition season. This season really didn't guarantee much, when it started. But when we are in the position we are in, and things are looking up, we should capitalize. We should be proactive instead of being reactive. Bring in a body at least, man. You're telling me we can't get a fucking body in for like 60K a week? I don't understand.
I don't think it's.
I don't understand.
It's the matter of money. It's like more about the fact that if you bring in a quality player, is there a quality player who's going to agree to come just for 6 months? And if he does agree to come for 6 months, like a player who's going to come and play for Real Madrid is going to want a longer term deal. So after 6 months, you're expecting Real Madrid to at least have Militao back, right? So then you're stuck with 4 players, and then Rafa Marin also comes back from loan. Now you have 5 players, and then I think Real Madrid are looking at a player like Lenny Yoro or whatever they are looking for the future. So it kind of like hampers the team. So I kind of understand what they're going, but like like I said, it's tightrope. You have to balance the fact that what your expectations are for this season. Coming to the season, we weren't really expecting to challenge for for the Champions League and everything, and we were hoping that if we get a run in La Liga, we'll be happy. But right now we're in a position where we're like, we can win La Liga and challenge for the Champions League. So I think for the board, it's about like where their priorities lie. Is this something that they're gonna they're gonna put everything on the line for this season, or they just want to they're planning for the next 10 years? Because with all the signs that we have made, we can see there is a pattern. But for Real Madrid, they're planning for the long term. They are building the next Real Madrid that's probably going to play for like 5-10 years at least. So I guess that's the balance that they have to do, and we kind of have to understand what they're doing.
I get all that, but chasing fortunes of the future, we kind of neglect the present. Yeah. That's just not the way we should operate.
A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. So I think that's the thing.
100%. Yeah. We should be looking at capitalizing, especially the situation in Europe where the throne to the Champions League is kind of waking. Even cities, slowly waking up from their slumber, themselves. Like, we should be proactive. I don't get it. We still have 12 days, not 12. We have 9 days, right? Okay, 9-10 days. We should be doing something, man. Let's be honest. We should be doing something like, at least for this season as a stopgap.
For me, for me, the thing about the shout that Farouk made was like an interesting one about Varane, because his contract with United ends at the end of the season, so like probably bringing him on a 6-month loan or something would have been an interesting proposition, but I think they don't really want to do that. So, although I understand, Varane also has his weaknesses. He's also had his moments of errors and everything this season as well. So I don't know.
It's peak, not gonna lie. I won't have any confidence going into especially looking at our team right now. Even Leipzig with chest out, it's not great. But yeah, moving on. Let's talk about the equalizer, right? Quick yes or no handball.
For me, it was 100% handball. You shouldn't have stood.
For me, it's kind of debatable. Some angles tells me that it was kind of top half of the shoulder, where we have seen plenty of goals being scored from. But then another angle shows me a little further down
I
the sleeve.
understand where you're coming from, because my brother and I, we were having the same conversation. He was like, "This is from the shoulder," and I was like, "This is from the upper arm." But there was this one angle where they kind of zoomed in when, like, after the goal had been given. I was watching my
Mm.
broadcast on ESPN, and they kind of zoomed in on one angle, and then they showed like the where the ball actually hit, and it kind of felt like it hit the upper arm. So for me, it was a handball. We got like entirely lucky to be getting that goal.
How the fuck does VAR miss that?
I think the fact is, like, they don't really have that ability to zoom in and do all of those things.
Really, you're telling me they don't have the ability to zoom in?
Yeah, I think they're kind of limited, because the thing is, like, if you start using technology and start slowing everything frame by frame and by frame and by frame, you kind of get stuck up with fouls that you shouldn't be there in the first place. So for me, if I understand correctly, VAR has to that they can't really do certain things that might magnify the amount of errors that are that multiply the amount of errors that are being thrown up. So probably that's why they probably don't have that tech where they excessively zoom in and see what's happening. From the replays that we saw when they were debating the decision, it kind of looked like a 50-50. The referee decided that it came off the upper shoulder, and they went with it. So as a Madrid fan, I'm not complaining, but for me, if I was in that place, I probably would have said that this is not a goal, this is a handball.
People in the chat, talk to us. Like, if you can put up a poll more, you can feel free to do it, but it's not necessary really. But yeah, I guess we got away with one, 100%. It should have been like it shouldn't have been a case of rival fans basically coming for our throats. And if the league goes down to a scenario where it's a matter of three points or less, this is gonna be bought up, right, Mo? It's gonna be the talk of the town if the league goes down to the wire.
I was talking to somebody in the background.
Yeah. No. Like, I was just saying, if the league goes down to the wire and it's a matter of 3 points or less, let's say 5 points or less, this is gonna be talk of the town. Come.
I mean, the thing is, like,
April, May.
It's gonna be the town anyway. If I remember correctly, when in 2021 we had a handball decision go against us against Sevilla, if you remember it, and like, nobody actually talks about it because Atleti won the title. So the thing is, like, for me, as long as we win the title, nobody's gonna care. Surely the people who hate Madrid are always going to bring up, oh, this was a handball, this got given in your favor, this is why you win titles. People who support Madrid are going to be like, this is blah 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 blah. And at the end of the day, for neutrals, Madrid are going to add an extra La Liga title, and that's what all counts.
Fair enough. Yeah, those are the things that basically takes the shine away from tonight's performance for me, because I would be here with a stupid grin from the get go if we had a much more convincing comeback, right? But yeah, not every comeback can be vintage, can it?
Yeah.
Mo, quickly, Ibrahim, was that a pen? Because I thought that was a pen. I was screaming in the group chat as well because he was stuck down.
I think for me, for me, at one angle it did look like a pen, but from the other angle it did not. So I'm kind of confused. I didn't really get to see the best angles.
For me, what I saw, I think it's from behind the goal. Like, the guy basically pulled him down, and there was not even a flinch from the referee.
Yeah, when you looked at from the angle from behind, it kind of did look like a penalty. But when it was like a side angle, it kind of looked like he didn't really get him that strong.
Right. Quickly, Jude Bellingham. No.
Yeah, and I already said Jude for me was like he was like kind of brilliant. The way he performed, especially in the second half. That if that acrobatic effort had gone in, I think everybody would be raving about it. Even the commentator
that was sexy.
Time, for me, it was Derek Ray, and he was kind of pointing out that if that had gone in, everybody, like, it would have been shouted from even in the US, despite the fact that we are having NFL playoffs right now, everybody would have been talking about that goal. So Jude really stepped up in the second half. He really made himself count, and I was like kind of happy about his whole performance.
When I saw it in real time, I didn't know that he basically controlled it himself and basically had to do it all on his own. But then the replay showed what he did. It's just amazing, man. This guy, like, the way he moves, it's just different. You can just see the tenacity, the aggression. Every move that he makes has a thought process to it, has a point to it. Has to really appreciate what this guy is doing at the age of 19. in the biggest club, the biggest institution in the world. It's just guts to say, how much of a leader he is. How much of a reference point he is already on our side. Um, yeah, like there's some performances that I would want to hone in a bit more. That wasn't super pretty. Tony Cruz, really didn't have the greatest of games, but he kind of made up for his lackluster first half in the second half. Where in the first half, basic long balls, trademark long balls from Tony Cruz wasn't finding their man. It was surprising for me.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that speaks to the
mm,
fatigue that we're talking about. Like these things,
yeah,
these passes not working out, people not being able to
yeah,
put adequate weight and everything. That is for me.
yeah,
That is the sign of players not being at their peak performance, peak sharpness. So
yeah.
yeah, that's mostly what I talk about when I'm talking about lacking fitness and lacking sharpness and everything. But like yeah, overall, I think Real Madrid's second half performance kind of overshadows what happened in the first half. We won, we go home happy.
100%. Joselu coming in also made a big difference. There was so many nice, passing lanes opened up because of him.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
many good chances being created because of him, just by his movement.
For me, the thing about
Mm,
Hoselu today, like the only thing I would like to kind of like to criticize the fact that I felt that he could have gotten into better positions where he could have been like receiving more crosses. Like I kind of said this in the last game as well. For me, I feel sometimes like Hoselu kind of gets stuck in his defender's cover shadow, meaning that he's not the our own team players are not able to get to him because he's always like he takes the positions that are difficult for players to cross the ball into, to make a pass into. So for
mm.
me, that's something that I kind of like, don't get about him. I would like to, well, especially as a player who's like, who's always trying to get into positions where he can score headers. I would appreciate more if he kind of, position himself between defenders as opposed to hanging off of defenders because I totally
Yeah, he's
understand.
basically like at the last line,
Yeah,
right? Like, yeah,
I kind of
yeah,
understand that a lot of strikers do that,
mm,
hang off the last defender. But I think Hoselu
yeah.
with his characteristics, I think it would be better if he kind of like try to split defenders.
I,
But
I think it's a matter of confidence more.
it could be. It could also be like
Mm,
this is just the way he plays, and obviously
mm,
he's an international player, and we're just
yeah.
armchair analysts, so he knows better. But that is something that I kind of don't like it about him.
There's so many good combinations. Vinny's pass to Jude, where he just shot wide. All that happens because of Joselu's mere presence on the pitch, and then yeah, man, like there were so many nice intricate plays, especially towards the end. But I still had this feeling this wouldn't be our day until Brahim magic touch again across was very well directed. Jude, you know, heads it back across goal, and then Danny, you know, as clutch as he can be, I think this was a very fine finish.
For some reason, I kept thinking it was Dan Carvajal who made the cross, and then suddenly somehow got to the end of the goal to score off of Jude's header. But it
Mm,
probably makes more sense. It was Brahim. But yeah, man, I think Carvajal keeps popping up at important times. He's having a legendary season. I don't know how you look about it, even though he might not have been the best on the pitch, especially in the first half, second half, massively stepped
yeah,
up.
first half was really poor, bro. Mm,
Getting that goal, and showing that passion. I think that's what Ramiro is all about.
100%, 100%. See, I would like to talk more about this, but yeah, man, I just don't feel it the same way tonight. Probably, the similar way I felt against Barcelona. Maybe, I see ominous signs, but I hope this is just a blip, right? Just regarding performance and you know fatigue and everything involved. Fede Valverde quickly more had a fine outing,
Uh,
helped his best. Mm,
yeah, I kind of felt like yeah, he was decent, but the thing is, like, I was kind of surprised
yeah,
that Ancelotti took him off. But
yeah,
we have to take into the fact that these guys have been playing a lot of games. Even my brother
mm,
was like, "Didn't you guys just play on Thursday and you're playing again now?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is Rambo. This is how you have to play every this month. I think we have at least played like every midweek almost. So
yeah.
it is what it is. Players are getting tired. Performances are gonna drop. But hopefully, with the schedule lightening up for us, especially us being out of the cup, prop players will probably return to better fitness. And Ancelotti also has to be careful because previously as well under Ancelotti we have started the season well, but when it always comes to this fact, we don't rotate well, and then we are towards the end of the season we kind of suffer injuries and players we lose players and then we start dropping points. So I hope that doesn't happen this season.
It is a recurring theme with Carlo, which really scares me sometimes. But I hope that isn't the case this season. Mo, I know it's past your time, but give me 2 minutes to quickly run through a few of the comments before we slowly wrap this up. Um, Hassa was mentioning I'm getting sick of Danny Ceballos at this point. It's a bit further up, Mo. If you can't find it, it's fine. Okay. Ashik was mentioning by Danny, I meant Carval, not Ceballos. Ricardo was saying this was not Modric's game. No speed, no strength, not enough stamina. Luka needs to just relax. His time will come. I don't get that. Like he doesn't have the same tenacity, the intensity he used to have, but I still think he has a bite. He can really, especially when the opposition is kind of tiring, I think he can make a difference. I really do.
I think Modric is at his best when he's starting. For me personally, I've always said this, Lenny. Modric, when he gets a run of games, is at a better, higher level than he is at if he's made to play in substitute appearances. So for me personally, I kind of understood what Ancelotti was going for. I don't really have a complaint, but if he had brought Modric on, I wouldn't be complaining either. Because Luka Modric is Luka Modric.
100%. Dennis is great. I'm really sorry, why your messages are being hidden, but I think it's fixed now.
You're talking about being shocking or something?
Yeah, but 2 comments before that was kind of got it in. Okay. Ashik was mentioning Vinny has a lot to learn, and there is still quite a bit of development left, but he thinks he's Pele. Sometimes I get that vibe too, bro. It's not good, man. It's not good. It's nothing against him. I want him to be the best, him to be our talisman. But
for me, the thing that resonates about Ashik's comment is the fact that he says he goes for the complicated instead of the simplicity. And I think this is something that even Rodrigo does, and I think we've talked about this before. These guys, they kind of tend to go for the the highlight reel moment, like you said before. That is something that I hope they improve on.
And as Kid was mentioning that Vinny was shocking. First half. Even in the second half, he didn't do really anything to redeem himself. That guy was mentioning Mendy in the final third is shocking. Some games, yes, you just
especially when we are playing against a solid defense, like the way
deep blocks.
We kind of lose the need for Mendy, and we need a fullback who can be more
overlap.
A guy who can contribute something in offense. I think Mendy has his strengths, especially when we are playing against teams who kind of give us space, by attacking us. But when it comes to teams like Almeria and lower half opposition, I think you don't really need Mendy in those games.
100%. Madrid TV was mentioning Vinny has been shocking a lot of the games this season. Yes, some people have been really vocal about his performance, and I, for once, was super critical of what this is shaping up to be. Zmap says, big up Zmap. He says, hit the like button. Madridistas 100% hit the like button. People, it really helps with the algo. Ricardo was mentioning in terms of attack, I pray Jude doesn't get any long-term injury. As much as we love Fede and Cruz, Jude is our most important player. What he offers to the team, they don't. 100%. Hassa was mentioning it's literally pick your poison type of a situation with the Nacho Germany. 100%. I don't know, where we go from here. It really is concerning. Madrid TV was mentioning Perez don't like doing signings in January. Can't remember last time we bought in someone in January. Maybe Chicharito. Was Chicharito the last time? Really?
No, Chicharito, I think he came in the summer. But I do agree that I don't remember the last time Perez signed somebody who made an impact.
I remember Essien. Was Essien in Jan?
No, he was in the summer as well. But
summer as well.
I'm pretty sure Brahim was signed in the winter of 2019. But
he didn't join us, right?
No, he joined us. He played half a season under Zidane.
Oh yeah. He scored the solo goal. Yeah, I remember.
But I'm struggling to remember somebody who was signed in January and kind of made an impact. But I'm sure there is a name. I'm just forgetting it. Yeah, if somebody remembers that, put it in the chat.
Ricardo was mentioning Mo Sune, do you know an Arsenal content creator by the name of Lee Gunner? 100%. That geezer today had the nerve to say Pedri is a better footballer than Jude. No wonder he is an Arsenal fan. I'll tell you something, Ricardo, it might be just to rile people up, or it might be taken out of context, because I know for a fact that Lee Gunner really likes Madrid more than Barcelona. That's a fact. But go for it, Mo.
Now, when I kind of saw this and laughed, I have to admit the fact that I don't really watch a lot of content creators on YouTube, so I wouldn't know the person respectfully. I'm sure he's good at his job, but for me,
he lives in Spain, so he knows what he's talking about. But here, I think he's just waffling.
Yeah, I kind of The thing is, like, I don't really want to go hard on Pedri because he's a guy I do appreciate despite the fact that he's from Barcelona.
Yeah,
But you have to appreciate quality to be, if you understand football, you have to appreciate quality, and I do appreciate Pedri's quality. But the thing is, like, the first thing that you need is to be on the pitch. Pedri right now is
available.
always injured, and he has trouble getting on the pitch. And then with everything that Jude has done, like over the half season he's been at Madrid, I don't think there's any doubt that anybody can have any doubt that Jude is like way better than Pedri right now.
100%, 100%. Rajat was mentioning Nacho needs to be a third to fourth choice centre back, not start too much. I think that's where Nacho shines. When there is some sort of a mini crisis at the back and he comes in, he steps in, keeps it tidy, keeps it ticking. That's where I think Nacho's strength lies. But I really didn't hope that was the case, because when he used to be in that sort of a role, I used to cry out for people to wake up and put Nacho in the thick of things and give him his due flowers. But
I think
yeah,
if this season had happened like 2 years ago, like it did happen like a couple of years back, if you remember 2021,
yeah, yeah,
Nacho did step up
yeah.
and played wonderfully. But I think it's just the fact that Nacho's like almost 35, 34, 35, so
Yeah.
he's approaching the tail end of his career, so performances are
Mm,
bound to drop.
mm, 100%. Um, Hassan was asking, wasn't Renier signed in the winter?
Yeah,
I
Renier
don't think
was
so.
signed in the winter, like just
Was he?
before COVID. Yeah,
Okay.
but like I was kind of like trying to focus on players who came in the winter and kind of had an impact. But yeah, Renier
Mm.
was signed in the winter.
Farouk is mentioning league is ours to lose. Champions League, we might get a chastening. I just really hope it's better than that. I don't want another 4-0 on the menu. I just can't take it. Telling you, simple as. Oh, Dennis the Great. Oh, how would I miss that? He was mentioning earlier, just a few comments earlier more. He was mentioning, I'm tired of Danny Ceballos. I call him Danny Cebollas. Cebollas is onions.
Cebolas.
Cebolas, yeah.
Yeah.
Cebolas is onions in Spanish.
Yeah.
Cebola and Savola. Savola in my mother tongue, Malayalam. I think, like Kerala has a lot of Portuguese influence, and I see where it comes from. Savola and Cebolla.
Yes.
It's
Yeah. I kind of
there is a correlation.
I kind of used to
Okay.
like, have a tease about him about Ceballos is Cebollas because Ceballos is an onion shop or something. But yeah.
Okay. Fair. Yeah, I really don't know what he contributes, but I guess he's the tempo light, tempo light. But yeah, man, big up every single one of you in the chat. Big up our sponsors again, Manscaped. Our first sponsor to be Manscaped is truly an honor. Is super special. I would like to reiterate. We couldn't really believe, what we came across. A couple of days ago. Not a couple of days ago, 4 or 5 days ago, when I got the email. Super happy with this collaboration, this partnership. Long may it continue, and for them to help us out, you guys have to help us out. This is the best way to show some love, show some appreciation, for what we do, what we have been doing for over the past 2.5 years. Like I always reiterate, juggling uni, family life, work, all of that. It's not easy. Mo literally had to, be on standby and come in 10 minutes before we went live, set things up, and do this for you guys. But yeah, people. Like I mentioned, towards the beginning of the pod, when you go into manscaped.com and look at the catalog as a whole, it might seem a bit pricey, but there are some stuff, especially if you live in Europe and in North America, that'll be below 40, $30, which can go a long way. And this partnership also depends on how many codes are basically used. If you don't know the code is LBR20 to get 20% off. I repeat, LBR20 to get 20% off plus free shipping on your purchases on manscaped.com, and the link is in the description below. If any of you guys would like to gift someone something for Valentine's Day, or be it any occasion, anniversaries, birthdays, guy or girl, feel free to do so. And if you guys are using the checkout code, the promo code, make it a point to send it to us, a screenshot of it. Just send it to us on our socials, on Twitter or on Instagram, so that we can show that you're coming through us. But yeah, people, any sort of support is gonna go a long way for such small tokens of appreciation, coming our way for doing this for consistently for over the 2.5 years. But yeah, Mo, any final thoughts
No,
quickly?
and I just to reiterate your point, everything that you said about the fact that we were incredibly surprised by the fact that a company like Manscaped approached us. That is the moment we felt like, yeah, the work we have been doing has been worth something that's at least been reaching. Although we do get to hear, every week from everybody in the comments, and we do appreciate the love that you have shown us. But that particular moment, you kind of feel like incredibly, it kind of feels like incredibly fulfilling that something that you have been doing has been recognized. So everybody who's like in the chat, everybody who's watching us, everybody who's listening to us, make sure that you do go to manscaped.com and check it out. And if you decide that you like something and you want to buy something, make sure to use our code LBR20, like Sunat said. We're gonna try and put it in the description, and starting sometime in the middle of this week, we're gonna put out a proper pitch and ad that Manscaped wants us to put out. So just do your thing. We'll be like incredibly humbled by any support that you show us.
100%. We forgot about the pinned comment. It was a prerequisite. Like we should have had a pinned comment in the live chat, with the stuff. Get 20% off with the code, and blah blah blah. If you can quickly do it before we end the live stream, do you want me to send it to you? Oh,
Okay.
yeah. You could just
Or
let
you
me
could
just
just put
go
it
over.
yourself. Yeah, just put the pin comment yourself.
I can do it myself.
Yeah. You can do it. You are
Let
logged
me
in.
let me quickly. Let me quickly.
Oh, by the way, I
Blah
did
blah.
run the poll, and I think 64% are saying it was a handball. The rest of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. There you go. So yeah. So you see, like our own fans think that was handball. Like it just goes to show, um, that people would be out with their forks already. Let me just quickly put this. How do you pin the comment?
Did you leave
So
the comment?
yeah.
Okay, let me see. I pinned it.
Okay, Mamo. Right. Yeah, man. Like up every single one of you in the chat, as well. Keep supporting the thing, man. Like, what makes this sport great and what makes whatever we do great is because this is a two-way street. We have a conversation out here. We speak about football. We speak about life sometimes in general. But yeah, this is the sole reason why we have the motivation to come on every single match day and do this. And keep an eye out for our content from Madrid. We'll be speaking to fans. Sid is right now speaking to fans outside the Bernabeu. So expect some, hostility, especially towards some of our, star names. But yeah, smash the likes over there if you like the content. If you have, disagreements or agreements on, certain people's viewpoints, do comment and basically show some engagement, because I know you guys love what we do, because I've heard a lot of good things coming from people who have been tuning into this new venture for us. But yeah, like if you agree with something, if you disagree with something, do it. And also don't forget to share it among your friends as well, fellow Madridistas. If they like what we do, they can really also look forward to some really intriguing content coming, especially with the Champions League around the corner as well. But yeah, big up our partners Manscaped again. Big up our partners, the OGs, Real Better Committee on Instagram as well. They run a brilliant fan page. Go check them out. The link is in the description below. But yeah, people, the audio will be out hopefully tomorrow. It won't be out right away like usual, but it'll be out sometime around this time tomorrow. Pick up every single one of you again, man. Until next time, people. Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.